Can't do black t-shirt. Can't do black t-shirt. We do Civic Guild. Hey everyone! This video is going to be the Albrecht's Aether release video for a build update. And anyone that has been following my channel knows Albrecht's Aether is pretty much my favorite ability in the game. It's just pure awesome. It's a giant laser made out of just pure energy. It's great. And for anyone that doesn't know, it's my, hasn't been following the channel because, Grim Dawn was just released. It's my favorite ability. And, this build has had so many build updates. Basically, every time a new version of Grim Dawn's come out, I've done a build video for it. Or whenever the game's had a major change, I've done a build video for it. This is no exception. Might be the last one, but there's still an expansion to come out later. So, jumping right into it, I run an Albrecht's Aether at 12 of 16, not 16 of 16, because we have so many plus skills, we don't need to have it capped out with skill points. It'll get to 26 out of 16 on its own, with a gear, at rank 12, and you can take those points and distribute them elsewhere in the build, so it's super helpful to actually have more than plus 10 to a single skill. Because it lets you do that. I run Disintegration at 12 of 12, and it gets up to 21-12, and it can get to 22-12 with a piece of gear that I still need to acquire, and I'll point out when we get to my gearing. Otherwise, in the Arcanist tree, it's a pretty standard mix of stuff, where we have Reckless Power capped out, and Fabric of Reality capped out because of the sheer damage they provide us. Mental Alacrity is at 6, and it'll get up to 9, and 9 is a good place for me to stop that, because I think that's the last level before, I think, 11, when you have both the casting speed increase and skill energy cost reduction increase. Escounder's Elemental Exchange is capped out, not because of the elemental damage, not because of the leech, not because of the conversion, but because of the regen. Those first three things are lost on our build, but we need as much regen as possible, because energy regen is essentially a DPS stat for us. Overload has 1 point, so we can get to Elemental Balance, which is at 9, and that'll jump up to 12 with our skills. And Mirror Varactes we also want at 12 because we want its cooldown as low as possible. But if you let it go above 12, the cooldown reduction stops. So if you choose to invest in it, and you're going to try to get it as high as possible, stop at 12. Because after that, it's just totally pointless to have it increased any higher. Maven Sphere of Protection, I run at 9 because it'll get jumped up to 12. And I generally shoot to have it at 10 to 12. That's a good place before you really could take those points and start putting them elsewhere. Excuse me. Yeah, and that's Maven Sphere. It's a great defensive skill for us. And we do want it at about 10 to 12. Conversion works as a 1-point wonder with nothing more in it. Kalidor's Tempest and Wrath of Agarex are a 2-point wonder. This will help us knock enemy heroes around that are normally not controllable, though it doesn't work on all heroes. So like skeletons and humans, like the Locksmere Night Mage, spiders, I think, and I think trogs are also in there, and maybe one or two others. You can just throw them around like they're nothing with Wrath of Agarex. For screwing over hordes, we have Electra's Flash Freeze, and this obviously can't be used against heroes, but it can be used against hordes, and it's sort of like my third line of defense, and I tend to actually almost forget about it, that I have it, but it's really handy for stopping enemies cold, no pun intended, and that fire resistance reduction. 1 point and absolute 0 for the slow. Inner Focus is maxed out because it's just pure damage and energy regen. 1 point on Arcane Will because we're going to get below 70 health quite often, and that's a nice bonus, both for damage and regen for us. And Nullification is a 1-point wonder, definitely. And it's part of our suite of screwing over enemies in that we can freeze them, knock them down, and take away their stuff. On the demolitionist side of things, Flashbang is kind of my first line of defense in that I pepper a room with them before doing other stuff. And between Flashbang and Searing Light, you actually end up with a really great control ability. Canister Bomb is sort of our second line of defense in my head. And it's a bomb in and of itself that deals some pretty good damage. And we use the Concussive Bomb add-on transmuter to make this a stun. I tend to do like flashbangs and then throw this on top of it, or flashbangs, throw that on top of it, and use Devastation. Oh yeah, Devastation I run at 5 points to give it a little extra oomph from just a 1-point wonder. And then Flame Touch and Temper are also both 1-pointers. Flame Touch got a bit of an upgrade in that it gives you offensive ability now. And I use Temper because our boots give a bonus to it, which is not bad. So we're going to put all of our gear on, and then we will turn all of our stuff on. So, our weapon is a Warp Fire, and I'd really like to get a Warp Fire that has high conversion just to see if it can convert all of Blizzard's damage better than this one can. But I think it might be borked up right now. A little buggy on the conversion, or I'm just interpreting it wrong, because I would really like to run Blizzard attached to Aether Ray and have a Warp Fire convert all that cold damage to fire damage. And we'd actually be able to turn Electra's Flash Freeze into Electra's Flash Flame, I guess you would call it. But otherwise, Warp Fire, aside from that, it's just a great all-round weapon. And the Warp Fire proc is great to happen. And the Wrathstone is our component. Our offhand is Aldenar's Vanity, and Aldenar's Vanity is great as well. It's just got everything where we want it. Aldenar's Vanity to proc is also great to have. Imbued Silver for the Bleeding and Chaos Res. Now, I switched out the Clairvoyance chest piece for a Kalidor's chest piece because of the flat health this provides, and this is kind of close to what the Clairvoyant chest piece provides with the health added on top of it. It also looks way cooler. Wraithborn leg wraps are our legs, and I'm thinking of switching back to the leg wraps of the Tranquil Mind, because I think that proc might be better than the Aether Blast Wave. So it's either pants that control time or pants that explode. Could really go either way on that. Shoulder piece is definitely the Clairvoyance Mantle still. It's an awesome shoulder piece for what it provides. Gloves, again, beg, borrow, steal. Just get these if you're running Albrecht's Aether Ray. They're the perfect gloves for this build. They have everything in all the right spots. I'm using my boot slot for a defensive slot. In this case, it's Golemborn Greaves for their huge amount of health, and it's my main source of Pierce Res. The +3 to Temper and its proc are a great addition to that. Oh, and components, Ballistic Plating on the chest for the avoidance, Mutated Scales on the pants for the health, Silk Swatch on the shoulders for the resistances, Unholy Inscription for the mix of offensive ability and resistances, and Mark of Mogdragon for the health and movement speed. Our helmet is the Outcast Hood in place of the old Clairvoyant hat for the bonus to Devastation, and the fact that we get free Devastations out of this, which is really awesome. It also has some really great stats all around. Soulbinder's Chains are our belt, which again, just a great belt for us. It's got everything where we want, where we'd like it to be. I mean, it could use energy regen, but that would be just ridiculously broken. And it's a great source of vitality res. Herald of the Apocalypse is our amulet, and it actually, I've been considering swapping it out for something else, but it's actually a really nice amulet, and the Apocalypse ability is really great. +3 to Devastation is also really nice to have, and it's making me consider maybe working in the Mortar Trap, but that would require a lot of rejiggering of skill points, which I don't want to do now, but I might do it in the future if I need the build to get a refresh. The Empowered Aetherlord Signet is both of our rings, and they're awesome. Just straight up awesome. Badge of Mastery with a bonus to Albrecht's Aether Ray is our medal. I have a +2 one, a +3 one would be nice, and a +5 one would be ridiculous. And then I'm running Iskandra's Balance as my relic because of the skill energy cost reduction coupled with its other benefits. Agravax Malice would be the other option because the Agravax Malice proc is really nice, but I mean, skill energy cost reduction helps manage the beam much better. I actually think the Elemental Imbalance proc on this is kind of ho-hum. But whatever. And we actually have one with Absolute Zero and Disintegration, which is pretty good for us. Components on the rest of this, I'm using a Rigid Shell because my Lightning Res is my lowest of the 3 elementals. An Arcane Lens for all of those benefits it provides. Mark of Illusions on both rings for the regen and elemental damage. And Spirit and the DA. Arcane Spark for the energy regen and offensive ability. on our metal, and an anti-venom salve for the poison res. And I think that covers our gearing. I have a almost 1-to-1 split between physique and spirit. I have a bit more put into physique than in spirit. And I have 5 points in cunning because way back in the day I threw 5 points on this guy back when the level cap was like 40 to equip a soul flare. And I think maybe the Spellweaver dagger as well. But it turns out that was probably a mistake in the long run. Those 5 points could have been better served in spirit or in physique. But yeah, I suggest a 1-to-1 split between the two. For devotion, my devotion route, start in Primordial. With the Primordial Crossroads, pick up the Imp. And there was a while when I wasn't using either of these and I was using the Manticore. But now I'm just using these two. So we pick up Aether Fire, stick it on the beam. Then we can go and pick up the Eldritch Point here. Pick up the Hawk, which will let us pick up the Widow. And we fill out the Widow and pick up Arcane Bomb and stick it on Flashbangs. When we throw Flashbangs in, it will proc that at a pretty high rate. And that means it will cause all the explosions, which deal damage, and then cause the Aether res reduction on enemies. After that, I am considering maybe picking up Blizzard. Again, if the conversion actually worked a little better, I would actually pick it up and attach it to the beam because of the slow effect it has now. And I mean, it's almost an option. So after that, I wanted to pick up Oaklane's Lantern. And the way we pick up Oaklane's Lantern is we put 3 points on Scholar's Light. So between the Imp, the Hawk, Scholar's Light, and the point right here, we can pick up Oaklane's Lantern. Then what we do is we respec Scholar's Light after we finished Oaklane's Lantern, and this will self-support itself. And it will also unlock Law for us. So we pick up Oaklane's Lantern and let it self-support. And then we can also pick up the Viper with the 1 point in the Chaos Crossroads. And between Chaos Eldritch Primordial, we can pick up the Behemoth for the health and the Giant's Blood ability, which is not a bad one. And then I move over with the Law, pick up the full Crane, which will unlock between our Primordial and our Law. We can pick up Torgo the Builder, Scales of Okama, and the Solemn Watcher. I want the full Scales of Okama because of that 2 energy regen and % energy regen. And then I put 1 point on the Dryad to get the poison acid res, and 1 point on Yulo, Keeper of the Waters, for the elemental res. I don't actually know if going through here is worth it just for one of these 2 elemental chaos res nodes. It would be worth it for both though if I had the extra points. But like I said, we're pretty much tightened up on our devotion points. Excuse me, devotion points. I've been talking all day. So we're pretty much tightened up on our devotion points, and I'd maybe pull this point for that last point in Torgo. But yeah, otherwise that's our devotion layout, and I believe I've covered all the gear, and we're kind of doing a weird record because I know it's coming up, and it's a fight with Moosie, where I die once because I'm stupid, but otherwise we fight Moosie, the Nemesis spawn for the Jeez, with all the heroes I encountered on the way here, I should have just done that. So I like I said, I like to lead with my flashbangs, and then I tend to like combo them to things. So I lead with flashbangs and maybe throw out like the canister bomb, and then Aether ray down groups of enemies like that. I also, throw out my. That was the proc off my helmet. I also tend to throw out my devastation waves at like the similar groups of enemies. And normally I don't actually spend time fighting like the trash mobs at the beginning. Oh, look at that! He's here! Okay, we're gonna make this the video. So Moosie, he can be a challenge. Mostly it's his randomness that can get you. Moosie the Chillwind's biggest thing with his Sky Shards, those, are they're exceedingly random. So you really do end up having, like, luck is either on your side or it isn't when dealing with him. This is actually not... Don't run up to him! Stop going for the Deathbolt Archer behind him. Alright, Form 1 is done. I want to come back here and kill everything that's back here now. Because there are priests. There are a lot of priests, actually. And I don't want Moosie getting any free heals out of it. So, yeah. Round 2 for this guy. Oh, goddamn. I actually maybe shouldn't have... Oh, come on! Really? I'm just trapped here like this now? This is my life now? I didn't know he had ice crystal things, actually. So, I maybe shouldn't have actually ran him back here, because now I don't have any place to run. So we'll do that. Wow. Wow. The last time I fought Moosie was in the Arcavian Undercity, and I actually ran him around a pretty big area, so I didn't actually have to deal with these. And I don't like it. I don't like it. Wow. Okay. So, I don't want to fight him in this area right now. I'm serious. I don't think I've ever fought him in an enclosed space. Well, I mean, it's an enclosed space, but I always end up fighting him in, like, the Undercity or deeper in the steppes. So I kite him around, and I have never ever had to deal with these ice crystal things. Ah. Also, he's around a corner, and corners are not our friends. Okay, now we... Oh. Okay. Now we're gonna... Damn it! Thank you, helmet. Now we can actually get our job done. I don't know that I can hit him, actually. No, I don't think I'm hitting him at all. Moosie, cooperate with me. We're doing a video here, man. Oops. Yeah, ow, 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 ow. Fighting him on stairs is actually not too bad. You let me... Oh, got frostburn. And drop that. Yeah, so I died, but mostly because I was stupid, not because the build's bad or anything. It's usually my most common source of death is my own... It's usually my own undoings of some kind. So let's see what we get. Necrosis, I don't have that. Swamp Turtles, leg guards. Good. Good. So let's run through here. You know, I think I'll call the video at that. I don't... That's what I thought. I don't think I need to go any further. We killed a Nemesis spawn with okay results. I died because I was dumb, but... And I honestly did not know about the ice crystals until now. That must be something very new, or something I've never dealt with because I always encounter them in spaces where I can run away from them. And when I run away from them, those ice crystals are nowhere near me. So, yeah, that's the Albrecht's Aether Ray Sorcerer and release build. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.